Sorry about the low energy today. I'm really not very well. Vaultoro is the one-of-a-kind online exchange where you can trade between gold and Bitcoin. Reserves can be audited online at any time and are protected from confiscation and company failure. Sign up for a free account today by checking out the link in the video description below. Hi there guys, and welcome to the latest episode of the Cryptoverse, your regular dose of news and commentary on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and blockchains. I'm your host, Chris Coney. So let us get into today's segments. So as you may have heard by now, late on Friday, the Bitcoin ETF was formally rejected by the SEC, which means that particular financial instrument that the Winklevoss brothers were hoping to launch now isn't going to happen. I've seen some headlines saying that they're not going to give up and they're going to continue to modify and reapply, but we'll see. We'll also see what happened with the Bitcoin price as a result of the announcement, so stay tuned for that. I have picked out an interesting article for the news segment, but because I'm not very well today, I'm not going to go and provide any commentary and so on, so I'll just put the link to the article in the show notes. I'm just too busy running backwards and forwards to the loo. So let's move over to the market roundup, courtesy of coinmarketcap.com. Now, some extraordinary things have been happening in terms of the market roundup. These moves that I've seen here are so extraordinary and they're so widespread. It makes me wonder whether these numbers are actually correct, but we'll look at them anyway. Now, the biggest winners here, we have to go right down to the bottom of the top 20. In fact, these two big winners of the day, they've jumped into the top 20, and they are Decred and Shadow Cash. Now, Decred sells itself as an open source and progressive currency with a system of community-based governance that is integrated right into the blockchain itself. They also have a 17% pre-mine for their developers, according to their own website, so I'd be interested to see what people have to say about that. In any case, Decred has jumped 64.2% since yesterday, and that puts it at $5.87 a coin, and an overall market cap of $23.5 million. Right below that in 18th place is Shadow Cash, which as you can imagine is a privacy-focused currency, but their site also claims to be a platform for decentralized apps. Now, Shadow Cash has gained a similar 64.96% in the last 24 hours, and now is worth $3.25 a coin. I didn't see any immediate mention of these coins in the news, so maybe someone can tip me off as to why this happened or what happened with these prices. My best guess would be that this is the fallout from the Bitcoin ETF being denied and investors seeking other alternative currencies perhaps. Now, economy is the biggest loser technically by percentage here, down 18.85, which isn't that interesting. What is interesting is that while it, an Ethereum-based app, has fallen so hard, when we look at Ethereum Core today, right up at the top, we see the price of Ethereum has jumped to $27.26 and now has a total market cap of $2.5 billion. Now that has got to be a first for sure. There are also some other crazies down here like MadeSafe up 17.35% and Augur up 25.27%. And also Dash is continuing its march forward. While it's only up 7.63% today, it did have some bigger gains over the weekend. And it now sits at $77 a coin and has broken $500 million in market cap. So now let's take a quick look at the Bitcoin price chart courtesy of bitcoinwisdom.com. Now, like I was saying yesterday on the live stream, be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. That's a Warren Buffett quote. Now, you can probably guess that the massive swing on this candle here both ways reached a high of 1350 at the top end and then crashed down to 975 at one point and actually ended the day at 1117. Now, I got in a bit late at 1080, but right after that the price has immediately started to recover, and it gave me the opportunity to connect these 3 lows that you see here to redraw a steeper short-term trend line, which actually makes the runs and the pullbacks a bit more obvious. To my mind, we're now looking at the gradual run back up to 1300, and then if we break that, we'll be back in that uncharted territory. Now let's take a quick look at the Litecoin Stats for its segregated witness support. It slipped a little bit more. It's dropped 0.15% over the weekend, and it now sits at 21.1%. So that's not looking good. I mean, I said this last week. It had such a run where it was consistently gaining support, and now it's even over the last sort of 7 days, probably 5 out of those days it's lost support. So that's elongating the projected activation date to the 15th of July, which is still within the deadline, so that's cool. Now the reason I actually look at the Litecoin Stats is not because I'm particularly interested in Litecoin. It's purely because I see that as giving Bitcoin a kick up the backside because of the stalemate. And I can't say whether that is actually what's causing this to happen here, but it's positive either way. What is positive is the resolution of the scaling stalemate. You know, whichever way it goes, wouldn't it be better off going one way than neither way? That's an interesting question, which I'm interested in hearing from you in the comments below. But anyway, segregated witness support on Bitcoin is now up to 27.7%. That's a 2% gain over the weekend. But Bitcoin Unlimited is still leading here at 30.3%. And there's actually some news out today about Antpool, which I believe have something like 14 or 15% of the total mining power. Can we find Antpool here? Here we go. Latest Bitcoin blocks mined over the last 7 days according to Mining Pool. So there's Antpool. There you go, 14.7%. So they've mined 14.7% of all blocks over the last 7 days. And they've decided, right, we're going to move over to supporting Bitcoin Unlimited. I think that's an announcement of their intention. I don't think they've actually done it yet. So this 30% we see here is it doesn't include that 14% from the Ant pool. So when that does happen, we can expect to see a sudden jump in the number of Bitcoin Unlimited blocks that are mined. So if it jumped from 30% one day to 44% the next day, well, now we know why. So the news article that I picked out today was from the Merkle. It's this one. It's this solar mill powers a small Bitcoin mining operation, and you don't have to necessarily read the article because the guy who owns this little mining farm in his house has made a couple of videos. In fact, if I just refresh the page here, it'll take me back to the part 1. So part 1 is like a minute long. It shows you this wind farm and this solar panel rig that he's got going there, and then you need to click on the annotation that comes up on the first part to see the second part, which is 12 minutes long, where he shows you his basement where the mining equipment is and the ventilation system and all that kind of stuff. Now, the reason I picked this out as being interesting to me is because that's something I've always wanted, sort of a sustainable source of energy and then mine Bitcoin with it, because that's a double rebellion against the man, if you like. One, it would be free energy, so that'll be out off the grid, and then using the Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency of freedom, that would be a second. So anyway, if you find that kind of thing interesting, feel free to check out this video. I will link to it for you. Other than that, if you don't find this interesting, then you just have to wait till tomorrow when I recover, and I will be back with a more in-depth analysis of the happenings in the Bitcoin world. So thanks for joining me today, guys. If you liked this episode, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. Please leave me a comment below with some feedback and get subscribed. And please support the Cryptoverse and boost cryptocurrency adoption by going to cryptoversity.com/podcast and becoming a patron. From a few dollars a month, you can secure Cryptoversity's future, get unlimited access to all Cryptoversity courses, and access a private patrons-only chat group where you get direct access to me. That is all for today, guys. I will be back tomorrow with a proper episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.